Listen closely. You can think, plan, and dream all you want, but if you don't move, you're dead in the water. The world doesn't pay attention to your thoughts. It respects your action. Power doesn't sit in the head, it lives in your hands, your feet, your voice, your execution. The man who moves, even with fear, outpaces the genius who hesitates. While others are talking about what they'll do, the doer is already halfway to victory. You don't need more motivation, you don't need more time. You need to move right now. You need to decide that hesitation is the enemy, and every second wasted in fear is a second stolen from your future. Thoughts mean nothing until they are pushed into the world through effort. Action is the bridge between your potential and your reality. Without that bridge, you fall into a life of mediocrity, excuses, and regret. Every time you take action, you multiply your power. Why? Because action builds proof. Action builds confidence. Action teaches. You cannot become strong by thinking. You become strong by doing, falling, failing, and doing again. Action burns away the weakness, burns away the doubt. There is no substitute, no shortcut, no hack. If you want it, you move. If you're serious, you move. If you're tired of your excuses, you move. You'll hear people say, "I'm still figuring things out." But weeks pass, months pass, they're still figuring. Nothing has changed. Know this, clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You get clear by doing. You get strong by doing. You get results by doing. The man waiting for the perfect plan will never start. The man who starts with what he has becomes unstoppable. Fear has one weakness. It cannot hold you back once you're in motion. Momentum kills fear. Momentum builds belief. But you don't get momentum sitting in your room watching videos. You get it by doing the reps, making the calls, taking the steps, facing the hard things. And the more you do it, the more power you claim. The only difference between where you are and where you want to be is action repeated daily. There are two types of people in this world, those who act and those who watch, those who create waves, and those who get swept away by them. You want power? Then take it. Power doesn't come from waiting. Power is seized. It's earned. It's owned by those who refuse to sit still. The disciplined, the hungry, the relentless, the ones who get up and move while others make excuses. You are not stuck. You are just waiting. And waiting is a decision to lose. If you know what you want, take the step. Even if it's small, take it. Because action compounds. Small steps become big strides. Big strides become transformation. It's not the size of your action today that matters. It's the consistency of it. One disciplined hour a day will break any wall, overcome any obstacle, and build any dream. Don't you dare think about quitting. Don't you dare wait for perfect. Don't you dare ask for permission. You've been given time. You've been given breath. That's all the permission you need. You're not meant to live in your head. You're meant to dominate with your hands, your actions, your results. Nobody is going to hand you power. You take it through relentless execution. Remember this, your destiny is waiting, but it won't wait forever. If you don't take action, someone else will, and the opportunity will belong to the one who moved. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let comfort stop you. Don't let your own mind stop you. There's only one power that matters now, and it's action. Move now. Thoughts are useless without action. They only matter when executed. You can sit in silence and plan the perfect strategy, map out every detail, imagine the outcome down to the last frame, but if you don't stand up and move, it all dies inside you. Ideas are not power. Ideas are potential, and potential means nothing without pressure applied. There are no results in imagination. There are no rewards in daydreams. The world isn't changed by thoughts. It's changed by hands that build, legs that run, voices that declare, and minds that command motion. Action is the weapon. Action is the hammer that smashes limitation. And only the man who swings it gets to shape his world. You don't get credit for what you think about doing. You only get credit for what's done. Action is the great translator between the invisible and the real. You want to win? Then do. Get up, move, fight. No one's handing you anything. You earn it through blood and sweat, not by sitting around mapping out perfect dreams. Those dreams are just weight on your back until you move, and the longer you wait, the heavier they get. The longer you hesitate, the more life will drag you down and bury your fire under comfort and fear. You think you have time? You don't. Time is brutal. Time is a thief. It doesn't care how good your plan is, how big your dream is, how badly you want it. Time rewards those who respect it, and the only way to show respect is to act without hesitation. People will say they're waiting for the right time, but the right time doesn't exist. The minute you feel the fire, move. The second you see the opportunity, grab it. Waiting is a slow death. Movement is life. Motion builds momentum, and momentum builds unstoppable force. Fear feeds off hesitation. The longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. But once you act, even if it's clumsy, even if it's uncertain, fear weakens. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the conquest of it through motion. You'll never think your way into bravery. You move into bravery. You charge into it. You prove to yourself that you're not made of fragile thoughts. You're built to break limits. You're built to rise, and the only way to rise is to run through the wall with everything you've got. The man who acts owns the day. While others debate, while they strategize, while they argue with themselves in the mirror, he's moving. While others complain, he's creating. While others doubt, he's building. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't even need all the answers. But if you're the one who refuses to stand still, you become unstoppable. Nothing defeats the man who doesn't stop. Nothing stands in the way of a storm that never pauses. That's what action is, a storm that reshapes the world. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a first step. You don't need guarantees. You need to start. The path appears after the walk begins. Success comes into focus after you've moved. And every time you act, you earn clarity. Every time you show up, you sharpen your weapons. Every repetition, every hour, every sacrifice. That's where real power is built. Not in your mind, not in your comfort, but in the arena where things are raw and hard and uncertain. That's where strength is born. That's where purpose is carved. The difference between those who make history and those who fade into the background is this. One group acts, the other waits. One group bleeds, the other hides. You can talk all day about what you're going to do. You can impress people with your plans, your intelligence, your passion, but if there's no action behind it, it's empty. Fire with no heat, thunder with no storm, powerless, hollow, forgotten. If you want respect, earn it through execution. Let your work speak before your words do. Let your actions define your name. Every second you wait, you give ground. You lose ground to the man who's willing to take it. And someone out there right now is hungrier than you. Someone's training harder. Someone's pushing through the pain you're avoiding. The difference won't be talent. It won't be skill. It'll be who acted, who moved, who kept going when it got uncomfortable. Because the reward doesn't go to the thinker. It goes to the finisher. It goes to the one who doesn't break when it gets ugly. The one who steps forward when others pull back. So if you're tired of your own excuses, if you're sick of seeing your vision in your mind but not in your life, then it's time to move. The clock's not going to pause for you. The world isn't going to wait for you to get ready. Your window is now. Your chance is now. And the real test of your hunger, your belief, your strength, it all comes down to what you do next. Not what you say, not what you feel, but what you do the second this sentence ends. Every dream is dead weight until movement gives it life. You can carry it in your mind for years. You can polish it, protect it, talk about it, and wrap your identity around it. But until you put your feet to the ground and take the first step, it is nothing. It's not noble, it's not powerful, it's not meaningful. It's a burden, a ghost that haunts your potential. Dreams are not supposed to stay dreams. They're not sacred treasures meant to be hidden in your mind. They are demands, commands. They are not suggestions. They are missions you were built to fulfill. And the only way they become real is through action so ruthless, so committed, so consistent, that reality has no choice but to yield. People talk about chasing dreams like it's some magical process, but dreams don't respond to hope. They respond to discipline. They respond to work. They respond to people who refuse to sit still. If you won't act, your dream will rot. It will become a source of bitterness, a reminder of what you could have done but didn't. That's the truth no one wants to say. The longer you wait, the more your dream decays. What once inspired you becomes a weight that drags you down, a reminder that you broke a promise to yourself. And that's the heaviest kind of failure, the one you can't blame on anyone else. No one else can bring your dream to life. No one is coming to force you to move. You have to look in the mirror and decide whether you're willing to die with the vision still inside you, or whether you're willing to suffer now to bring it into the world. That's the choice. It's not comfort or success. It's comfort or purpose, comfort or legacy. And the legacy always demands a price. Action is the payment. Sweat is the payment. The long nights, the rejection, the fear, all of that is part of the cost. But the ones who move pay it gladly because they'd rather bleed for their dream than drown in regret. A dream that stays in your head is a fantasy. A dream that gets written down is a target. A dream that gets acted on day after day without excuse, without apology, that's when it becomes destiny. Every great life you admire is built on this exact truth. Not a single one was handed their dream. Not a single one made it by waiting. They made it by moving when it was inconvenient. They made it by moving when it hurt. They made it by moving when every voice told them to stop. Because once you start, once you really commit to the path, the dream begins to breathe. It begins to fight with you. It begins to fight for you, but it never fights for the one who stays still. Waiting is a liar. It tells you that tomorrow will be better, that next week you'll have more time, that next month the fear will be gone. It never goes away. You just get stronger than it. You don't kill fear by waiting. You bury it by acting in spite of it. You don't overcome doubt in your head. You erase it through execution. You want to feel like you deserve your dream? Earn it. Earn it by being the one who moved when everyone else waited. Earn it by taking the risk. Earn it by walking through the fire. You don't get the glory without the grind. You don't get the dream without the discipline. And you don't get the life unless you move. The clock is ticking. Every second you wait, someone else is taking ground you should have taken. Someone else is doing the work you said you would. Someone else is living the life you keep talking about. This isn't about being gifted. It's not about having the best idea. It's about being relentless. It's about being allergic to inaction. It's about being the kind of person who refuses to live at 70%, who refuses to bury their potential in comfort and excuses. Because if the dream means something to you, you'll move for it. You'll bleed for it. You'll get back up after being crushed by it. And eventually, it'll become yours. No one will understand how hard it is. No one will see the battles you fight when the camera's off. That doesn't matter. You don't move for recognition. You don't move for applause. You move because the alternative is a life unlived. You move because the voice in your soul won't shut up until you do. You move because the dream isn't going to wait forever. You move because purpose doesn't ask for permission. It demands obedience. And the price of disobedience is pain, is regret, is watching someone else live the life you were built for. There's nothing noble about holding back. There's no courage in playing it safe. If the dream was placed inside you, then the power to fulfill it was too. But that power only activates when you move. You want to change the world? Start with one step, then another, then another. Stack them with fury. Stack them until the world has no choice but to see you. Stack them until you don't recognize the weak version of you who used to wait. Stack them until the dream is no longer a thought, but a living, breathing reality that you ripped from the heavens through action. Action is the great separator between the talkers and the doers. It draws the line sharp and undeniable between those who say they want it and those who prove it with their steps. Talk is cheap because everyone has the words. Everyone can say the right things. Everyone can post the quotes, read the books, make the plans, but only a few have the fire to execute. Words don't build empires. Words don't create freedom. Words don't change lives. Action does. Execution does. The doers don't explain, they don't beg for support, and they don't wait for approval. They move, and in that movement, they separate themselves from the pack permanently. You've heard it all before from people around you. I'm going to start this. And I've got big goals. And just waiting on the right moment. But the right moment never comes because it doesn't exist. The doers know that. They don't wait for perfection, they start where they are. They know movement breeds clarity. They know action destroys fear. They know progress is only made by stepping into discomfort and building momentum brick by brick, strike by strike. Every time they move, they widen the gap between themselves and the ones still talking, still dreaming, still hesitating. There is no strength in intention. There is no transformation in planning alone. The battlefield belongs to the one who steps onto it, not the one who stands on the sidelines studying the map. You don't win by watching. You win by engaging. You win by grinding. You win by showing up even when it's brutal, even when it's lonely, even when everything inside you says stop. That's where the divide grows. That's where the talkers begin to fall away, and the doers carve their name into the story with nothing but grit and movement. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires aggression. It demands forward motion, day after day, whether you feel like it or not. That's the difference. The talker acts when it's convenient. The doer acts when it's necessary. The talker hesitates in the face of fear. The doer charges forward despite it. The talker wants recognition before they've earned it. The doer lets results speak for them. And make no mistake, results are always the truth. Results are the proof. You either have them or you don't. You either earned them through action or you didn't move enough to claim them. The world is full of people with big ideas, but ideas without execution are just noise. Dreams without action are just lies. You tell yourself to feel better about staying stuck. Every second spent talking is a second you could have spent building, and the more you talk, the less you believe yourself. Confidence doesn't come from speaking. It comes from doing. It comes from walking into the fire and realizing you can stand it, that you can take the hit, that you can get up again. That's how belief is forged. Not in the mind, but in the action. Not in the promise, but in the performance. You will be judged by what you do, not by what you say. No one will remember the goals you talked about last year. No one cares about the plans you never started. What matters is what's real. What matters is what you finish. The doers know that legacy is not built on vision alone. It is built on repeated sacrifice, daily discipline, and relentless execution. There are no shortcuts for them. There is no magic formula, just repetition, just movement, just deciding every day that quitting isn't even a language they speak anymore. Action is the great purifier. It burns away all the false identities. It strips you bare. In the doing, you meet the real you, not the one you talk about, the one that actually fights, the one that actually suffers, the one that gets up early, stays late, and doesn't care if anyone sees it. That's where power is born. That's where separation happens. You don't become great by chance. You become great because you act like someone who refuses to stay ordinary. And every small, deliberate move you make widens that gap between you and the masses who are still dreaming out loud. No one cares what you say you'll do. They care about what you finish. They care about what you built while everyone else was making excuses. The talkers want recognition before work. The doers don't care. They'll bleed for years before the world even notices. Because their focus is not applause, it's domination. Their fuel isn't attention, it's purpose. And their path is paved with broken limits and battles most people are too soft to fight. They don't need to talk about being hungry. Their hunger is obvious in their results. Their scars speak. Their actions shout. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of hearing your own voice say the same promises with no follow-through, then stop. Act. Move. Show yourself you're not just another one of the talkers. Don't just say you want it. Prove it by how you attack the day. Prove it by how you work when no one is watching. Prove it by the decisions you make when it's hard, when it's unfair, when quitting looks like the easiest way out. And if you stay in motion, if you keep executing when others fall back, the separation becomes permanent, and the life you used to talk about becomes the life you're living because you refuse to stay among the talkers. The universe responds to momentum, not intention. It doesn't care what you meant to do. It doesn't bend for your good ideas. It moves for those who move. You can sit still with perfect plans, pure intentions, powerful dreams, but until you take that first step, until you push forward with consistency, the universe stays silent. Life is a mirror of effort. It reflects what you do, not what you hope. If you're waiting for signs, if you're hoping circumstances will align before you move, you've already lost. Because the moment you hesitate, someone else is already in motion, already claiming what you're still preparing for. The world rewards those who dare to act. Momentum is the real magic. The smallest move, done daily, creates unstoppable force. That's how greatness is built. Not in one giant leap, but in the refusal to stop. Once you start, things begin to shift. Doors open, energy builds, the resistance gets weaker. But you've got to earn that flow through action. You don't think your way into progress, you grind your way into it. That's why winners move without waiting. They trust the truth. Movement creates opportunity. Not thoughts, not promises, not vision boards. Only raw, relentless execution brings results. Most people are paralyzed by their own perfectionism. They want the perfect time, the perfect strategy, the perfect plan. But the truth is, perfection is the enemy of progress. While you're polishing your intention, someone else is out there failing fast, learning fast, building fast. They're not better, they're not smarter, they just move. They push through the uncertainty and figure it out along the way. They understand momentum is a living force. Once you create it, it starts to work for you. But you've got to be the one to start the engine. Your intention means nothing without the fuel of movement. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your work. Every action you take is a vote for who you're becoming. Every repetition, every sacrifice, every moment you refuse to quit adds weight to your name. That's how legacy is built. Not by hoping, but by showing up when it's hard, when it's dark, when it's thankless. The ones who win are the ones who keep moving long after the motivation fades. Because they've learned the truth. Discipline drives momentum, and momentum builds empires. There's no shortage of people with good intentions. There's a shortage of people with the courage to move. The grind exposes who's real. The ones still standing after the setbacks, the rejections, the failures. Those are the ones who earn momentum. That energy multiplies. Once you break through the first wall, you build force. Once you cross the first threshold, you gain speed. And the faster you move, the harder you are to stop. That's how you separate. That's how you dominate. Not by being better, but by never standing still. Fear hates movement. Doubt dies in the face of execution. You want to kill your insecurities? Outwork them. Drown them in results. Use action as your weapon and refuse to wait for the perfect conditions. Because you'll never feel fully ready. That's the trap. The only way to become ready is to start. Take the first step. Mess it up. Learn. Adjust. Take another step. That's how you grow. That's how you build real confidence. Not by thinking about what you could do, but by proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who does. The people at the top weren't just lucky. They weren't chosen. They made themselves undeniable through momentum. While others paused, they pushed. While others waited for signs, they created their own. The universe didn't hand them anything. It simply responded to the signal of consistent movement. That's the law. Move with purpose long enough, and everything starts to move with you. But it all starts with that decision. Act or wait, build or delay, lead or watch. Every day you choose, and every choice either builds your momentum or kills it. You don't need more motivation. You need to act. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is just fear wearing a mask. If you want to break out, if you want to finally build what you see in your mind, then you have to stop talking about it and start bleeding for it. One action at a time, one day at a time. Stack the wins, small and consistent, because that's how you make the universe listen, not with talk, not with declarations, but with undeniable force. Momentum makes you dangerous. It turns effort into results, repetition into mastery, and struggle into strength. And once you have it, you protect it with everything you've got. You don't negotiate with laziness. You don't entertain excuses. You stay in motion because you've seen what happens when you don't. Regret, shame, softness, that life is behind you now. You're not here to stay still. You're here to conquer, to dominate, to transform. So if you want change, don't speak it, move it. The universe is waiting to see what you'll do next. Procrastination is the assassin of greatness. It doesn't come with a loud crash. It doesn't destroy your dreams in one single blow. It kills slowly, silently, one delayed decision at a time. It whispers lies in your ear. You've got time. Start tomorrow. Just wait until things are right. And while you listen, your opportunity dies. Your edge dulls. Your fire fades. Greatness doesn't vanish in chaos. It gets strangled in comfort. It gets buried under excuses. It gets postponed into oblivion. And those who let it happen never see it coming until it's too late. Procrastination disguises itself as rest. It hides behind rationalizations. You convince yourself that waiting is wise, that planning is progress, but deep down you know you're just scared to move. You're scared to fail. You're scared to face your own potential because deep down you know the truth. If you really gave everything, if you truly went all in and it didn't work, you'd have to face yourself with nothing left to hide behind. That fear keeps you frozen. That fear keeps you average. But you weren't built for average. Every time you delay action, you betray your future. Every time you wait, you surrender the very thing that could transform your life, momentum. The seconds turn into minutes, the minutes into days, and before you know it, the year is gone and you're in the same place you swore you'd leave. That's the real cost of procrastination. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your identity. It turns warriors into wishers, builders into talkers, and champions into spectators. The greatest tragedy isn't failure, it's potential never realized because the person never moved. You don't fix procrastination with more thinking. You fix it with action. The cure is in the work. The breakthrough is in the move. The minute you act, the fog lifts. The resistance weakens. The doubt begins to die. But you've got to strike fast. You've got to move before the mind starts its negotiations. Because the longer you wait, the louder the excuses get. That's why the great ones build the habit of action. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for perfect plans. They move, and they adjust along the way. Procrastination feeds on your energy. It drains you before the work even begins. It builds anxiety. It multiplies fear, and it erodes your belief one delay at a time. You end up exhausted, not from doing, but from not doing. The mind starts spinning. Guilt sets in, the pressure grows, but nothing changes until you move. The work doesn't get smaller. You just get smaller the longer you avoid it. That's why you must strike while the thought is fresh. Start immediately. Build the muscle of decisive action. Because once you hesitate, you give the enemy power, and procrastination is the enemy. Look around. The world is full of people who almost did something great. People with potential, with talent, with big goals they never touched because they kept pushing it to tomorrow. But tomorrow is a lie. It's the most dangerous drug on the planet. It convinces you you'll act later, then leaves you empty-handed. You can't afford to live like that. Not if you want to win. Not if you want to become what you were meant to be. You don't get forever. Your time is limited, and every day you waste in hesitation is a day you never get back. Greatness doesn't require more time. It requires more urgency. You need to treat your dream like a mission, not a hobby. You need to attack it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your confidence, your purpose, your power, they are all connected to whether or not you do what you know you need to do. The fastest way to build belief is to keep promises to yourself. The fastest way to kill it is to delay them. You cannot trust a version of yourself that always backs down when it's time to act. You build trust by becoming someone who moves without hesitation. You don't need more information. You don't need better timing. You need movement. You need to cut off every excuse, every lie, every weakness, and take the next step, no matter how small. Because the moment you move, you separate yourself from the masses. Most people are stuck in their heads. Most people are living in pause. Most people are walking cemeteries for dreams they never had the courage to act on. You don't have to be most people. You can rise. You can fight. You can become the one who finishes. This is your warning. Procrastination is not a harmless habit. It's a killer. It's taking from you right now. Every second you delay, it grows stronger. And it only gets louder the more you feed it. But the second you act, its grip weakens. The second you take control of your time, your day, your focus, you become unstoppable. You silence the fear. You prove to yourself that you're not here to wait for greatness. You're here to create it. and that creation begins the moment you stop delaying and start dominating. Courage is proven only through motion, not theory. You can read about it, speak of it, imagine how you'd act when pressure hits, but none of that counts until you move. Until you face the resistance, until you put your feet down and walk straight into fear, your courage is just a concept, not tested, not real. Real courage lives in the fire, not in the mind. You don't know who you are or what you're made of until you move when everything inside you says stop, until you act while shaking, until you press forward when the outcome is unclear, the risk is high, and the comfort is gone. People admire bravery but forget where it's forged. It's not built in books, it's not built in speeches, it's built in motion, in action taken despite uncertainty, in forward steps taken when you've got every reason to sit still. The brave ones don't talk about what they'd do if things got hard, they move while it's hard. They don't wait to feel brave, they act, and courage is born in the doing. That's the truth. You can't access strength from the sidelines. You can't gain power by thinking about it. Motion is the test. Motion is the proof. The world is filled with people who want to be seen as courageous, but won't risk anything. They want the title without the trial. They want to look fearless while they stay frozen. But courage is not found in appearance. It's found in decisions, hard ones, bold ones, the kind that put you on the line, the kind that invite failure, judgment, and pain. And if you're not stepping into that space, then don't talk about being brave, because the moment you move with risk on your back, you've entered the place where courage is earned. Comfort has convinced too many people that courage is optional, that you can live small and still be fulfilled. But deep inside, you know that's a lie. You were built to move, to pursue, to chase down the vision in your mind with everything you've got. And the only thing that bridges the gap between dream and reality is courage in motion. Not just one big move, but 1,000 daily ones. The grind, the repetition, the refusal to sit still. Because every time you move through fear, you shrink its power and multiply your own. Fear can't hold what moves without asking for permission. The second you act, fear loses its grip. The second you step forward, you change. Not by magic, not by motivation, but by movement. And with every repetition, your mind rewires. You stop waiting for bravery to show up, you create it. You show yourself that pain won't break you, rejection won't stop you, and failure won't define you. You become the kind of person who acts no matter what, and that kind of person can't be touched by the weak emotions that paralyze the masses. You don't have to be fearless to act. You have to act so often that fear no longer controls you. That's the path. You build courage like muscle, through tension, through resistance, through motion. The reps are hard and they never stop coming. But each one makes you more dangerous. Each one makes you more focused. Each one proves to you and the world that you're not here to live soft. You're here to dominate your space. You're here to leave a mark that wasn't made by comfort, but by bold motion taken when it mattered. You won't remember the days you sat still and stayed safe. You'll remember the moves you made when your back was against the wall, when everything was uncertain but you moved anyway. That's when you become real. That's when your name starts to mean something, not just to others but to yourself. Because deep down, you want to be proud of how you lived. And that pride doesn't come from thoughts. It doesn't come from potential. It comes from execution in the face of fear, from doing what others were too soft to do. The great ones weren't born brave. They made the decision over and over to act when others froze. They rewired their instincts by doing what was necessary, not what was easy. They weren't always confident. They were committed, and that commitment showed up in movement. That's what separates the elite from the average, not talent, not resources. Movement, a consistent refusal to bow to hesitation, an aggressive drive to chase discomfort instead of hiding from it, a code that says, I don't speak courage, I prove it through what I do when it's tough. So if you want to rise, stop looking for a feeling and start creating momentum. Stop preparing endlessly and start striking. The perfect time won't come. You'll never have enough certainty. And that's the point. Courage is only meaningful when it costs something. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But they don't, because they're waiting. You don't have time to wait. You move now. You act now. You lead with action and let courage follow. You meet fear head on, not because you're fearless, but because you're unstoppable in motion. And that's the only courage that matters. Success is not found in the mind. It is forged in daily effort. You can think like a winner, speak like a champion, and envision greatness every night before you sleep. But if you're not putting in work when the world isn't watching, none of it matters. Success doesn't arrive because you believe in it. It arrives because you earned it. Day by day, brick by brick, through repetition, through grind, through showing up when you'd rather rest, through action when no one claps, when no one cares, and when the results haven't shown yet. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards consistency. Your ideas will mean nothing if they're not backed by sweat. Your vision is worthless without labor. The greatest minds are forgotten every day because they never did anything with their thoughts. Meanwhile, those who dared to execute, even imperfectly, rose, grew, and conquered. Because success doesn't come to the smartest or the most talented, it comes to the most relentless. The ones who show up regardless of mood. The ones who work while others talk. The ones who stopped asking how they feel about it and just do it. Daily effort is where greatness is built and proven, not in a flash of inspiration, but in the grind you commit to long after the inspiration is gone. The gym, the desk, the late night, the early morning, those are the battlegrounds where champions are made. You don't need motivation when you've got discipline, and you don't need perfect conditions when your standard is to show up anyway. Because winners are not created by circumstances, they're created by patterns. Daily habits that refuse to accept anything less than forward motion. People love to talk about success as if it's magic, as if some cosmic force will drop it in your lap if you just think positively or wish hard enough. But there's no secret, there's no shortcut, there's just the work. Cold, repetitive, unglamorous work. And the sooner you fall in love with it, or at least become loyal to it, the sooner your results begin to rise. You get stronger through the struggle, sharper through the routine, and more dangerous through repetition. Every day you delay the work, you delay the reward. It's easy to dream. It's easy to imagine the life you want, to tell others about your goals, to feel fired up after hearing someone else's success story. But what matters is what you do when the hype dies, when no one is watching, when it's just you, your willpower, and the choice, execute or stay the same. That's where the war is won. That's where the transformation happens, not in the moments of hype, but in the moments of grind. In the discipline to do the work when it's boring, when it's lonely, when it's hard. You can't skip the reps. You can't cheat the system. Success keeps score, and every lazy day, every missed opportunity, every time you chose comfort over growth, it adds up. But so do the wins. So do the early mornings, the extra hours, the focused work. Every page you read, every set you lift, every task you complete with precision and purpose. It stacks. And over time, it builds a version of you that the old you couldn't even recognize. That's what effort does. It rewrites your identity one action at a time. The dream is not waiting for you. It's hiding behind effort. The results you want are already possible, but they only reveal themselves to the person willing to grind daily. You don't rise because you want it. You rise because you refuse not to work for it. The difference between people who win and people who wonder is what they do with their time. Are you building or are you avoiding? Are you executing or are you just planning endlessly? Because the clock is moving either way, and one day you'll face the truth. You either gave it your all or you gave in to excuses. It's not about speed. It's not about how fast you reach the goal. It's about the discipline to move forward every single day, no matter how small the steps. That's how momentum is built. That's how legends are born. Not through one explosive act of greatness, but through the refusal to quit, the refusal to coast, the refusal to be average. Every day becomes a chance to prove who you are, not with words, not with thoughts, but with effort. And when effort becomes your default, results become inevitable. There's a price for success, and most aren't willing to pay it. They want the shine, but not the shadow. They want the outcome, but not the hours. But those who understand the truth, that greatness is earned in the dark, those are the ones who break through. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop searching for the easy path. There is none. There is only the daily grind, the action, the sweat, the effort. That's where success is found because that's the only place it's ever been. Those who act, dominate. Those who wait, get crushed. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't care about your potential, your thoughts, or your good intentions. It moves fast, and it moves for those who move first. The ones who decide quickly, act boldly, and follow through relentlessly. The ones who don't pause to second-guess themselves every time fear whispers in their ear. The ones who feel doubt and still move forward. If you wait, you lose. Not because you're not capable, but because you surrendered the moment to someone hungrier, faster, and more ruthless about claiming what you hesitated to reach for. Speed matters, action matters. Not perfect action, immediate action. Because power lives in momentum, and momentum belongs to those who initiate. You can't dominate from the sidelines. You can't win by observing. The battlefield of life doesn't make room for the cautious. It's cleared by the committed. While most people waste time analyzing, strategizing, planning every step in their mind, the doers are already miles ahead. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait for clarity. They moved, and clarity met them in motion. Waiting feels safe, but it's the most dangerous place to be. Because while you're waiting, someone else is taking your opportunity. Someone else is building what you dream about. Someone else is stepping up while you're stuck sitting down. Convincing yourself that now isn't the right time. The right time doesn't exist. The right time is the moment you decide to stop letting hesitation own you. You either act and lead, or you stall and get left behind. This is the brutal truth that separates the bold from the forgotten. Success isn't about who wants it the most. It's about who does the most. Talk is cheap. Desire is common. But execution, that's rare. That's what puts food on the table, money in the bank, and legacy in motion. You don't inspire anyone by talking about what you're going to do. You inspire by doing it while others are still thinking, by building while others are still dreaming. You take the hit, take the risk, take the shot, and that's why you win. Because action beats theory every single time. Waiting is often dressed up in logic. You'll hear people say, "I'm just preparing," or "I need more research," or "Let me figure it out first." But underneath all that strategy is usually just fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. And that fear keeps them small. You think the successful don't feel fear? They do. They just move anyway. They get punched in the mouth and still keep swinging. They don't confuse fear with a stop sign. They treat it like fuel. Because domination doesn't wait for fear to pass. It marches through it. If you want to be powerful, you must become allergic to hesitation. Make it your mission to move, to strike, to execute while the thought is still fresh. Because the longer you delay, the weaker your drive becomes. The longer you stall, the more your mind starts negotiating. It will give you 1,000 reasons to slow down, to take it easy, to wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow is a liar. Tomorrow is the thief of dreams. There is only now, and now belongs to those who move with force. Action creates identity. When you act boldly, you stop questioning who you are. You prove it to yourself through motion. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to build belief, not from affirmations, but from results. Every step forward, even when it's hard, rewires your mind to know, I do what needs to be done. That belief is unshakable. That's how confidence is built, not by hoping, not by waiting, but by doing, by showing up again and again and again, until the world has no choice but to take you seriously. The ones who dominate aren't always the most talented, but they are the most committed. They don't wait to be discovered. They make themselves impossible to ignore. They outwork, outlast, and out-execute everyone around them. They don't need to be told what to do because they've already done it. They're moving when others are doubting. They're building when others are watching. And because of that, they own the game. Because the game rewards initiative. The crown doesn't go to the thinker, it goes to the mover. You've got something inside you that wants to rise, that wants to lead, that wants to build something real and unshakable. But you'll never access it by sitting still. The fire you're looking for won't come from motivation videos or more planning. It comes from motion, from walking into uncertainty and handling it, from doing the thing that scares you, from proving to yourself that you can handle pain, pressure, and pushback and still win. The minute you choose action over delay, you shift from passive to powerful. This world isn't going to wait for you to figure it out. It's moving fast. It's brutal. It's real. And it only opens for those who kick the door down. So stop talking, stop waiting, stop preparing forever. You don't need more time. You need more courage to act. The ones who win are the ones who move, the ones who strike, the ones who refuse to sit back and hope. Hope is for the hesitant. Dominance is for the decisive. You've got what it takes, but the world will only see it when you start moving like it. In conclusion, the path to success is not paved with hesitation, but with decisive action. Those who act dominate the battlefield of life. They understand that it's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. It's about showing up, moving forward, and creating their own momentum. Every moment you spend waiting is a moment someone else is using to build their future. The difference between success and failure is not talent or luck, but the relentless drive to keep moving, even when it's hard, even when you're scared, and especially when you'd rather stop. Remember, the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards execution. It rewards those who move, who commit, who refuse to be paralyzed by doubt and fear. If you want to dominate, you must become the one who acts first, who leads the charge, who faces challenges head-on without hesitation. So stop waiting for things to align. Stop waiting for the right time, because the right time is now. Take action. Step into the unknown. Own the moment. And let your actions speak louder than any words ever could. You have everything it takes, but it only matters if you act. Move, and you will dominate.